Welcome to the Texas Truck Channel. I'm Craig.
And I'm Brian.
And behind us, we've got the GMC Sierra AT4. Brian, we've already done
X, but no, X.
That's right.
Right here.
Let's get into it. First, Brian, I want to start with the controversial nose. Some people love and hate this nose. I've happened to think it's fine. The previous version was a little cleaner, maybe.
Wait, it's more than fine. That was great.
I think it looks good. I don't have a problem. But some people don't like this angled up. I don't know. It looks fine to me. Brian, I do want you to kind of zoom in on this, though. This is on the Sierra Denali we had. They called this Vader Black or Vader Chrome.
That was the ultimate.
And it looks like it looks a little splotchy. I don't know if that was a cleaning product maybe misused, or maybe it's supposed to be like that. Maybe after time it'll look camo-y. I don't know, digital camo. Idiots. Okay, let's go down front. We've got red tow hooks. Not to be confused with the Cayenne red, which is, Brian, you know what this truck really is, before we get any further. This is the most mature off-road truck anyone can get. And this is what mature people should be getting. But let's continue, because we're not mature. Anyways, red tow hook, so it works. Underneath here, Brian, you have extra, well, no, you have the exact same skid plates you can get on the AT4. You basically have one underneath the engine, you have one under the transfer case. That's it. You don't have one under the fuel, nothing. But anyways, is what it is.
Probably all the truck.
Brian, I want to focus right here, this big part right here, because a lot of people think the AT4X is the exact same thing as the ZR2, but it's the GMC version. And actually, that's kind of true and kind of not true, because if you build one today, you won't have this, and you'll have a much better approach angle. You can see the tire, it's exposed, just like the ZR2. For whatever reason, this particular model we have is not that way, and we have found on the building price that you can't build one like this again, so we're
they have an AEV style cutout bumper.
Yes. Yeah. All right, Brian, let's get down here where the size counts and size matters, and that is we get a 285 65 18. I'm sorry, 275 65 18 Goodyear DuraTrack. We don't get the controversial MTs or maximum tractions that you can get on the ZR2 and some other models out there in the world. Bronco. But this is a good all-terrain. This all-terrain is known for good performance in the mud, good performance in the snow, especially for just an all-terrain. It's almost an in-between, mud terrain and all-terrain, but it's kind of noisy. You get these big lugs, and those big lugs make some noise on the road, and you hear it. So, but Brian, the real goodies, the biggest difference between an AT4 and an AT4X is back there. Don't confuse that with a Bilstein just because it's gold and blue or yellow and blue. It is actually Multimatic DSSV spool valve shocks, and those are that's the really neat thing you get with AT4X, and it's good and bad. We're going to talk about that a little bit more in the ride and drive and where those really come into play. You've gotten the AT4 before, but I like the little subtlety of this. They just had an X on there. I like that. Yeah. There's no weird graphics on the side, just an X. Okay, we know it's better. That's cool. Again, this is very mature. We get nice rock rails. That is an option on this truck that we have, and we're happy about that.
And by the way, these are not steps. These are actually rock rails.
Yeah, no, nothing comes out.
You try to step on this? No. It's actually angled in a way that you'll fall and break your neck.
Yeah, could be dangerous.
Don't mess around. It's real deal.
But it's functional. Here's where you know that the diesel is an option, so good to know. Better view of the Multimatics back there. Probably you can look at that and see it. But traditional, here's the thing about this truck. Traditional, you notice the leaf springs. Very traditional, nothing crazy. This is an old school, honest to goodness truck. That's a little bit of the theme with all GM trucks. You get the wonderful side steps, which GM invented, and everybody should just copy, and some actually already have. For sure. Let's open the back, and you get a little bit of a controversial, I think the best tailgate in the business. Even has the kicker sub and radio and all that. This is awesome. This is what America needs. We need more of these in trucks. Brian, we get. Sorry about that. Okay. Brian, we'll get some more options. But Brian, it's not just any bed liner. It's an AT4X bed liner.
Oh, now you can tell.
That's how you can tell.
Is this not the Carbon Pro bed?
It is not the Carbon Pro bed, and I don't want to talk about Carbon Pros because people get really offended by that. So anyways, let's continue. And I want to get up to the front. I'll meet you up there and get underneath the hood and see what makes this thing American. All right, underneath, cue all the bald eagle sounds and American flags. Here we go, 6.2 liter push rod V8. This is how it's supposed to be made. This is how it's supposed to be done. LS the world, you don't need to do any swaps here. It's already in there. So when you own this thing for 50 years, it's already LS swapped. You're in business. 6.2 liters, good for 420 horsepower and 460 pound-feet of torque. And it's paired to the wonderful 10-speed transmission that co-developed with Ford. And for whatever reason, GM knows how to program it better. It just shifts really smooth and always when you want it to. Great job, GM. It does have a really low final drive ratio. Brian, what did you say, 321?
323.
323, so
not 373, not 410.
But it works.
It works.
But Brian, I want to end here because this is honest to goodness truck, and that's the theme of General Motors. It's American, you got the V8, and that flag just right there proves that it's built in America. Am I right?
No.
Wait.
No, final assembly.
Wait a minute.
Designed in America.
Wait a minute.
In America.
Engine United States, transmission United States. Oh, final assembly point Mexico.
Oh,
so
well, that's like America South.
I guess we also need another flag on there.
Yeah, that's fine.
Let's
drive it.
All right. Interior.
All right, boys and girls, let's take it into premium town because we are professional grade today with the Obsidian Rush interior. Don't confuse it for black because it's not. I'll be honest with you. We had the Platinum Ultimate recently, and this is verbatim the same interior with different colors, with worse colors, personal opinion. But you do get really nice materials. Alcantara-like headliner, B-pillar, A-pillar. Actually quietens the interior down quite a bit. The seats have a massaging feature, heated and cooled. I'm gonna go ahead and hop in here real quick. Oh, look at that. Look at that, Craig, the sunroof and headroom to spare, front and rear, no problem with that.
What a weird idea.
Really bizarre. I'm gonna show the people real quick. We have a giant screen here, another one there. This is configurable, and I do like, I'm gonna go ahead and crank it up real quick. There we go. You have options for the cluster, and I do like that you can configure what's down here for more or less info. Like we've got battery, oil pressure, fuel and temperature. You can have those off or just fuel and temp. And the gauges can have multiple formats as well. Really happy with that.
And they also have like a calm mode. It has just like speedometer and like that's it.
It's just minimal completely. Yeah. On the rearview mirror, I like this a lot because if you have a memory seat and you and maybe your spouse are different heights, well, with the mirror, it doesn't matter where this thing is focused or twisted or upside down or whatever, the image on the screen will stay in the right spot. That's pretty cool. Also down here, really what you're paying for are these two guys right here, rear locker and all four lockers. That's neat. But
electronic, selectable.
Electronic, right, not G80, nothing funky like that. The most confusing thing that I've had from passengers in this vehicle is, what the heck is this? Turns out my children have never seen an analog clock before, and
it is a weird looking analog clock.
It's bizarre, and it looks like the
the line stays together.
Right, yeah, there's no hub in the middle, and also it looks like the minute clock is racing something, like it's on fire, like it's cooling off as it goes around. That could look better, and I can't figure out a digital version. Comment below if you know a solution to that, but I don't see a way to make that look anything other than old man.
There's a clock right there.
Oh yeah, there's that right there. So what is this? Anyways, it's made certain people think that this is an old man truck, which maybe it is. Comment below if you think it is. I don't necessarily think it is. You still get wood grain everywhere, and you get nice leather wrap on everything. The difference between this and the Ultimate Denali is that you get cool wood grains, you get hash marks with coordinates for the Denali Mountains everywhere, and you get actually basically a map in your seat. This doesn't have that. It's kind of the boring version of that interior, but the materials are still really rich.
So if you're going to Mount Denali, you might get lost in this.
Yeah, you might just, well, you could get there in this, but you'll never find it without the nav. You do have a 2-speed transfer case with auto 4x4. I do like that a lot. That's something that Ford and GM have been really good about lately doing. I'm talking to you, Toyota, figure that out. That'd be great. You got the power rear window, power sunroof. I've had some people say, where's the panoramic? I'm here to tell you I like this better because rear headroom exists. Let's go show that. Let's ditch the kids stuff because I'm an adult. I can't use that step because it will deflect my foot off the truck. Oh, look at that. I'm 6'4". I am tall in the torso, and this is always a problem. Look at this bump out. That is not possible with a pano. Thank you, GM, for staying old school in the best way possible. You do maintain center armrest, heated rear seats, USB and USB-C. I'm not sure what else you could ask for in a truck like this that is super quiet, save for the tires. Let's hop on the road and make those things noisy.
All right, Brian, it's time for an all-American 6.2 liter pool with the Multimatic shocks, Duratrax AT4X. Hit it!
Oh, 4-wheel drive auto,
good launch,
traction off, 50 and 60.
Yeah, sounds like America.
In 6.1 seconds, buddy.
That's pretty good for a big old heavy truck.
On Duratrax.
Right.
And that's where 4Auto makes a big difference. I really wish that other brands would make sure they have that function just for our 0 to 60 times. For the end user, doesn't really matter.
Yeah. Well, but the end user, it's nice. So when it's raining or icy, you use auto. We had ice the other day.
Yeah.
4 auto is a game changer.
That's true, because then you give the all-wheel drive function of not binding while in four-wheel drive that a normal pickup has.
Exactly.
So binding meaning when you're turning,
it's like
you still
pushing.
have,
It's
you
weird.
basically have a differential in the middle. It's the best of both worlds.
Yeah.
So it's kind of all-wheel drive and four-wheel drive.
Okay, but let's talk about how this ride and drives. Let's get to the shocks. But before we get to the shocks, because that's the biggest difference here.
Yeah.
I want to talk about the 6.2 liter. We've had it in a bunch of different things.
Okay.
Tell me about the 6.2.
Man, look, while at first glance, I'm underwhelmed by it. And the reasoning by it is because it doesn't feel special, it doesn't sound special, it's just like a V8, right?
Yeah.
But then I think about it and I kind of go, like the EcoBoost is definitely faster.
Sure.
Ford's 3.5 EcoBoost is a monster.
Absolutely.
Just gonna leave that there. Y'all can argue in the comments below. But in our experience and our testing, it is faster.
It's just faster.
Getting that out of the way, when you push this thing and you peel it back, look, it only revs like 55 when it shifts. But the sensation and the American Eagle sound coming out makes it all worth it. And it is fast. And save for a little bit of valve clatter on the push rods, you hear a little bit of tick every once in a while. That's just the nature of push rods. It's a really refined and smooth engine.
Okay. Enough 6.2 talk. We've heard about it a bunch of times.
Yep.
We like it. That's the bottom line.
That's the end.
I want to hear about these Multimatic, DSSVs, whatever they're calling these spool valve shocks. We had them in one other vehicle before, the Colorado Bison. This is a weird vehicle because we're trying to figure out where it lands, but before we figure out where it lands, what about those shocks?
Just quick takeaway, also a little underwhelming compared to the Fox options that are available in the Raptor. The Raptor live valve Fox shock is undoubtedly better than this in terms of an off-road machine.
Okay.
Here's the caveat.
All right.
If, let's be honest, the buyer of this truck is probably not going to Baja.
Right.
GM was very real about who's going to drive this. On the road, it's really good.
Okay.
But I'm not going to say it's better.
Okay.
I'm going to say maybe it's a little more tuned. It handles probably better. But man, that's not what trucks are for. So I'm just not even going to give credit on that. What I'm really getting at is it's really smooth on the road. It handles well. When you get into some dirt, it's a little more jolty than I thought it would be. Yeah,
it's a little less forgiving. It doesn't absorb those bumps as well.
Right.
But I'm a little surprised how well it handles on a turn on pavement.
Yeah, in spite of these tires, it does really well.
Right.
Yeah.
So, okay. So that brings us to the question, where does this truck land? You've got the Ford's got the trimmer in the Raptor.
Right.
GM's got the Trail Boss AT4, and then you've got the 02 and the AT4X.
Right.
And then
it's getting crowded, by the way.
Tundra's got the TRD Off-Road and the TRD Pro.
Right.
Ram's got the Rebel and the TRX.
Right.
Where is this?
And air ride and all that stuff it has.
Yeah. And where does this sucker land? Is it a value? Is it worth it? Does it make sense? What do you think?
Look, I'm just going to put it out there. In terms of price, it's kind of a ripoff. If you're looking at what can I spend to get the best off-roader, that's not it. This is the vehicle for someone who has to have a GMC.
Yeah.
They came from a Denali. They're professional grade human beings. It's got to be the GMC.
Whatever that means.
It can't be a Chevy. Because if you get the ZR2 Chevy, you're functionally, all you're missing really is the badge and massaging seats, and it's $10,000 less.
Yeah, the ZR2 seems like a bargain compared to this.
It does. Yeah. So I'm struggling with that, but you do get all the niceties that you get in a GMC.
That's true.
But you still get in the Chevy. In terms of off-roading, if you're serious about it, the Raptor, I'm not talking R, I'm talking just the regular Raptor with 35s, not 37s. It handles off-road stuff better than this does.
Much better.
Much better.
And at speed, and it's faster.
And it's adaptable.
Yeah.
So with controls on the steering wheel, you can change what you want it to do.
Right.
And it gets really close to the road manners of this while being a balloon on the dirt when it needs to be.
Okay. I am excited about the Bison version coming out.
Me too.
That's interesting.
Oh, yeah.
We loved it in the Colorado edition, so we'll see how that works out here. That's interesting.
Yeah.
Also, you can get this with a diesel now,
Supposedly.
if it ever becomes available.
Supposedly, yeah.
So that's an interesting and compelling different option.
And then you brought up a good point. I think that's where this becomes a really a standout because all the other things we mentioned, well, the Trail Bosses you can get some in, but when you get into this price point, you can't get a Raptor with a diesel. If you're the guy that has to be a diesel person or has to be a GMC person, that's who this truck is for.
Yeah,
for everyone else, get the Trail Boss or the AT4 and save the money. The biggest thing you do get is the locking diffs, which we'll show in our next video, which is an off-road video with this. That is going to be awesome. But man, a lot of its competitors get so close to it, that's not enough to make a 10 grand difference to me.
Look, so people in the off-road and overland world just drool over triple lockers and diesel.
Yeah.
That's cool.
That's a good point.
You know, this and the Gladiator Rubicon, like that's
Those are it.
Yeah.
And this is the only full size they'll give you that.
Right.
That's what the standout is.
Okay, my last question for you, and we're gonna wrap this thing up. Would you get the multi-valve, the Fox shocks on the F-150, the Fox shocks on the Tundra, or air ride on the Ram? What's the best? What's the one to get?
Fox shocks on the Raptor.
Why is that?
Because it gives you adaptability.
It's got the live valve.
The live valve, that's what it is. The second, people are gonna be mad about this. The second is gonna be the trimmer.
The trimmer.
The trimmer.
Okay.
Because it has a ton of travel and doesn't wallow too much. It somehow works.
Okay, well, you're wrong on all those because I'm going with the air ride in the Ram because it's just smooth as silk.
Well, it is smooth as silk. That's true.
So there's that.
That is true.
All right, thanks for watching. I'm right, he's wrong again. As usual, check all the socials.
Yeah.
Thanks for tuning in, and stay tuned for the off-road video.
Thanks for watching.
Oh, I have a spot.